If you know, you know. If you don't, that's fine. But we just wanted to address something that's happening at the minute.
Yep.
James and Fuhad finally apologized and addressed the controversy that has been going on. Let's talk about this. Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So yesterday I posted a video of James and Fuhad being called out by people, especially black women, for their reaction to black women being disrespected. If you haven't seen that video, go check out that video so you get full context of what we're talking about. Now they've tendered an apology, okay, which we're going to get into. They've tendered an apology. They've come to explain why they acted the way they acted, why they reacted the way they reacted, why they did not defend black women when they were sitting down there and black women were being stereotyped, being mocked, being disrespected, and they said and do nothing. They addressed that and then people responded to their apology. You guys know people will always talk about the apology. So we're going to check out the apology, people's response to the apology, and let me know what you think about their apology down in the comment section. Do you think it is genuine, not genuine? Go down in the comment section, share your thought, okay? And then we're going to hear people's thought on it. And yeah, I'd like to know your own take about that too. So let's go check it out and then we'll come back and talk more.
PSA, quick acknowledgement. So if you know, you know. If you don't, that's fine. But we just wanted to address something that's happening at the minute.
Yep. This
past weekend, there's been a couple of clips going around from when we did a session on the Flagrant podcast while we were on our US tour. And yeah, there were a few jokes made that were incredibly inappropriate. One specifically pertaining to black women.
Yep.
And in the clip, Andrew was making a joke. I'm not even going to get into specifics. Making a frankly racist joke.
Yeah.
And we were laughing at it. And to give there's first of all, before we get into like specifics or anything like that, obviously there's just literally no excuse. There is no excuse.
Agreed.
And fight or flight is a real thing. Like it is, yeah. Fight or flight is a real thing, and it's so not easy to say, but when you're in those situations, you look at it through a lens of like, bro, if it was me, I promise you, I'll stand up, I'll kick them cameras down, I'll smack homeboy in the face, I'll say this, I'll do that. But when you're in there, you're in shock.
You're in shock, and all you want to do is move on.
Yeah, bro, move on. Word, bro. All you want to do is move on. Just move on to the next thing. Just move on to the next thing.
There's
and
so
like
many
we had
times.
to say a few times, bro, just move on. Just move on.
So many different topics. We were like, move on, move on, move on. And
yeah.
It's not even like about pity laughs or anything, but we just wanted to
get out of that situation.
Literally get out of that situation, keep the ball rolling. And we thought it was going to be more of like a bros chat, but it ended up being something that's
ended up being something that's like really, really hurt people that look to us for support and look to us to feel protected. And protected is the main thing that I wanted to discuss, is that it is our duty to protect you guys.
Facts.
And it is definitely not cool to be in that situation. And again, not be the ones to stand up and kick the cameras down. And it on that occasion,
we did.
It's not going to happen again. And it's about being human. It's about realizing that you don't know what you're prepared for. You don't know how to prepare for something
you don't know
that you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And once it's happened one time, you're like, all right.
You learn from your mistakes, and that's literally you
literally
learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, and we're sorry.
We definitely do apologize.
It's for me, like, it's one of them ones where you don't realize that, like, for one, when you're part of a community, you don't realize that you can hurt your own community,
especially
when you're not, when
unintentionally, for real.
And also on top of that, it was so crazy that like the narrative that's been spun about how we feel about our community, the irony of the fact that whilst the whole reason we're in that country was to just show how much we love our community and show how much we love our supporters and how much time we spent at the shows and just like getting to know people and just like understanding our community better and just like making friends and making bonds and showing love, and they're showing love. And this whole 6-week trip was just about showing how much we love our community and how much our community show out for us. And then to have that exact same trip be the reason that we're having to have this conversation now. But at the end of the day, mistakes make you a better person.
Mistakes do make you a better person.
You're not born a perfect person. And yeah, we don't condone, we don't appease that behavior, we don't rate it. And we don't want you guys to think that we were sat in that room rating what's going on.
We hold our hands up. We apologize. You learn from your mistakes, and we hope we don't let our community down again, because ultimately we do this for you guys. Like,
yeah, you guys are all we have, man.
You guys are literally all we have. You guys have taken us to this level, and we don't want to let you guys down going forward and anymore. So
I've seen the apology, and I will admit it was not good. Even from a PR standpoint, it was just not good. I don't know if they have like a management. I don't know if people are working with them. I don't know, but it was just not a good apology. And I'm going to use this opportunity to point out that I keep seeing this happen over and over again. These influencers find themselves in, hot water, some type of and then they come on here and issue like the worst apologies. And I know that we want people to make the right apology. Like, we want them to be authentic. We want them to be real about it. We want them to mean it. But the truth is that a lot of people don't know how to apologize. The moment they messed up was when they started making excuses or sharing reasons or why they or how they felt in the situation. If you have done wrong to someone or a community, when you apologize, it's not the time to defend yourself. You apologize, you take accountability, and then you tell them what you're planning on doing to correct it. And I don't mean giving vague statements. I mean giving actual things that you're going to do. What actions are you going to take? And then you don't just go back to business as usual, which they already have. A much better thing for them to do would have been to make a clean, simple, and straightforward apology, take their little break, and then they could have even met with another podcaster to actually talk about the situation later on. Someone that is part of someone or a group of people that are actually part of the community that was harmed, that, they meet with and they speak about it and, share it with everyone. That would have been the better time to discuss things, talk about what they learned, what they did wrong and what they've been doing to fix it. But stating it in your apology, basically that like, oh, everybody makes mistakes and let's move on. It's no. Exactly. Anyway, I don't really know what this means for them, but that apology was definitely a fail.
So yes, Shxts and Gigs have just posted an apology video. I've just gone onto their YouTube to see it, and honestly, I do feel like it was very sincere. And some of the stuff they are saying does make sense, but it's still super important to hold them accountable, and they are still holding themselves accountable. They were just explaining exactly why what happened. I think where they were on such a, I don't know much about the guy's platform, but maybe a bigger platform. And also where they were kind of in an awkward situation, like they're being filmed, everything's still going on, and they didn't quite know how to handle it. Apparently he asked and said a lot of controversial things, and they kept insisting that he move on to the next thing. And in fact, I think the recording with the guy was actually quite like awkward in some ways. I'm glad they've held themselves accountable. They've expressed how they are truly sorry, and they really do understand that a lot of their community is actually Black women. So there's like no way you should be insulting us, honestly. And yes, I know it's not them that literally said anything, but not saying anything is also just as bad in some ways, honestly, because it's not that we necessarily demanded them to, like, I think he mentions like kicking down the cameras and like saying, oh no, we need to stop, this is crazy. We didn't necessarily demand that, but I feel like there were a lot of ways that they could have expressed that that wasn't their like standpoint, that wasn't their views, in still a jokey manner, because all of it was like quite lighthearted and jokey, even though the comments the man was saying was definitely racist. But they could have easily, I think, just been a bit more, stood a bit more stronger in their views. They could have just been like, oh, come on, let's not do this to Black women again. They get a lot of heat, like, and just laughed it up. Like, they could have just, do you know what I mean? But instead they didn't really say anything, and they kind of just laughed at the jokes, which wasn't okay. But yeah, I'm not going to go on about it anymore. They've apologized. I think we'll agree to let this one slide for now. I'm happy they've come up with an apology so quickly, and I think that it did feel sincere, and it did feel like they have learned their lesson in a way.
I have just seen the apology video, actually. I was wrong. They apologized, and quicker than I thought they would. Whenever an apology is issued like this on the back of backlash, you're always going to be wondering whether or not it's really genuine, because Are you apologizing because you are truly sorry and regret your actions, or are you just apologizing because you have to? But I'm not gonna lie, I had a little think after I made my last video, and some of the jokes that Andrew Shxts was making on that episode came back to me, because I mentioned that I watched a good amount of that episode before all of this even happened. And Andrew Shxts was making many racist, offensive jokes. Like, you guys think that clip was bad. He made so many jokes that were just disgusting, to be honest. Like, the things that he was saying about Nigerians, it was actually crazy. And at one point, Fuhad actually looked angry. Like, he looked really irritated because these jokes were really offensive. So now I'm remembering that and I'm seeing this apology. When they came to the part where they said that they were uncomfortable and they kind of just wanted to say or do anything to move on to the next point or the next topic and just kind of keep it moving, I actually do believe them, because I promise you, if you were to see that whole, and I haven't even seen the whole episode, just the portion that I saw, there's no way that you could be in a conversation like that and not feel uncomfortable and not feel like, let's just kind of get this over and done with. But ultimately, it still doesn't really change anything. They were still wrong for how they reacted in that moment, because like I said in my original video, it's just funny how when he made so many of the other horrible jokes, they were completely comfortable to not laugh and to not entertain it and to just kind of be stoic and move on to the next point. But when it came to a joke that was at our expense, they felt very comfortable just to laugh it off, whether it was fake or real laughter. It didn't even look like fake laughter, to be honest. It's just a shame how there seems to be no issue with us being the butt of the joke until it was too late, but it is what it is. What I will say, bearing in mind what I've seen of the episode, I do think that it was a bad move for them to even go on Andrew Shxts' podcast. I'm sure their team thought it would be a good look, Andrew Shxts and Akash having such a big following and being successful comedians. But I'm assuming if you look at their past episodes, you will see material just like this. And if they did, then they should kind of have foreseen that this was inevitable. This was going to happen. Because unless you're already used to having to navigate your way through offensive conversations with people, it's kind of next to impossible to have a back and forth with someone in this type of conversation and come out looking good. And that's not to give them an excuse, because they were still wrong, point blank period, but looking at the whole situation, it was just a bad idea to go on that podcast from the beginning.
Honestly, y'all could have kept that shit. We all knew they was gonna apologize, and if I had not seen other clips of their behavior or behavior that would lean anti-Black women prior to the apology, I might have been like, oh, I think they mean it. But no, I saw a video of James talking about he had issues with Black women because Black women used to bully him. This stereotype or this idea or this thing that men say that don't like Black women now in their big, very, very, very much big age, and they be like, oh, I don't date Black women because when I was younger, Black women used to pick on me. You went to an all-Black school. Who was going to pick on you? Like Umar said, if the Black girls called you ugly, do you think the white girls were gonna say you were handsome? Baby, if you was ugly, you was ugly. You glowed up and you held on to that resentment or whatever it is, or what y'all be telling yourselves to make y'all feel better about the disdain y'all have for Black women. Like, y'all, when y'all started this podcast, y'all did not anticipate that the people who were going to gravitate towards y'all and make y'all as popular as y'all are were going to be Black women.
I agree.
Y'all did not think that was going to be the case. And I saw so many people in my comments like, how did y'all not know? How did y'all not know? How did y'all not know? Because I actually fully watched an entire podcast. I just enjoy my little clips and and go on by my day. But y'all won't get another key out of me. And also, I would think before y'all go on other people's podcasts, there is some research that is done. And Andrew Shxts has been racist, sexist, ableist. This has reinvigorated my hate for that bitch. And it caused me to go down a rabbit hole and just see all the nasty things he said, how rude he has been to his guests. And I'm just like, Grant, I don't have to do a deep dive on random podcasters, right? Because I'm not going to sit on the couch. But maybe you should. And while I won't be participating anymore, for the future, maybe do a little bit of research.
Fuhad and James, that apology was not apologizing, okay? The apology pas bon. And let me tell you why the apology is unacceptable, because y'all did not center black women in that apology. Like, why are y'all so afraid to say black women? Like, our community wouldn't apologize to our community. No, apologize to the black women within your community. Okay? We want to apologize to our community. No, say it with your chest. We want to apologize to the black women in our community. We let you down. There were numerous jokes, racist jokes, stereotypical jokes that fed into black angry female tropes that have hurt you all for centuries. And us as black men, we should have done better. We should have never moved forward once the first joke was made. We should have ended that. We should have deaded that. We didn't do a good job. We failed the black women in our community. Say our name, say our name, say our name. Don't be afraid to say black women. And I think that's why black women are in an uproar right now, because it just seems like y'all are afraid to say black women. Y'all are afraid to acknowledge black women. What is up with that? And then you do the apology and you connect it to your next podcast episode. Absolutely not. Where are the publicists? As a if I was your publicist, this is a crisis. You see these publicists right now? They don't know how to do crisis management. If I was your publicist, this video is apology only. There is no podcast. There is no microphone. There is no monetization. There is no give me my money. Yay! You're not making no money from apology for black women. You're not going to make no money off of this. You are apologizing and you are making things right. You need to be centering black women, and you need to be detailing how you are going to move forward in your loyalty to your black female audience. And another thing, Andrew Schultz has always been racist to me. I unfollowed him years ago. Okay. To me, while y'all are canceling Shxts and Gigs, which honestly, I think this is a learning moment for them. But if you watch that full episode, Andrew Schultz does a lot of racist jibber jabber, and he does it under the guise of jokes. And I used to think I was taking things seriously or too seriously because I saw so many black men in his corner. The Charlemagne the Gods. Charlemagne stays. Like, Andrew Schultz would not be Andrew Schultz right now if it wasn't for Charlemagne and every other black man who works with or works for him. If y'all want to be canceling people, those are the people who need to be canceled. But that's not going to happen, because cancellations don't happen to black men. It only happens to black women. That's another conversation for another day. But Andrew Schultz would not feel comfortable enough to speak to those men the way he did in that episode had he not spent years being ushered into spaces and being made to feel okay. It's cool what you're doing, because black men made him feel that way. And that's the problem to its core of all this, is that black men continuously make people like Andrew Schultz with his damn Hitler beard mustache. Black men continue to make these white men feel comfortable speaking the way they do when it comes to black women and black culture, period. And that needs to end. That needs to be canceled.
So James and Fuhad, I don't know how to say their names, I'm not gonna lie to you. But I don't think I'll be hearing too much about them or needing to say their names much after this. They have since released an apology, and I wanted to hurry up and make this video before people go on their they took accountability tour, because really they didn't. They basically said, I watched a good amount of it, and they basically said like, oh, you know, you always say you're gonna be, you know, stand up in that moment, but when you're in the moment, it's like fight or flight kicks in. So you agree, you a punk ass bitch. You're a punk. You're a punk. You're a punk. And then also, so I've revealed two things about the situation and why I don't really think the apology matters or is an acceptable apology. In a lot of instances, I do think that that is valid. Like, maybe in the moment you're like, damn, I don't really know what to say back to this. And I feel like I'm not in the, like, power, like, I'm not in this position to be the one to say, like, all right, you doing too much. I do think generally that is valid. I'm going to tell you why I don't think that applies here, regardless of the fact that that's what they're saying. Because you knew that it happened before the episode came out. Yeah. And I'm sure, because it sounds like it was implied that there were other parts that they were saying, like, you know, next question, like, we're not going to answer that, et cetera, et cetera. So you knew after you wrapped up on set and you got back on your plane and you flew across the pond, you knew that there were at least some moments that made you uncomfortable in that interview, or that you did not want to participate in for whatever reason. And for whatever reason, you chose to participate in that one, even though you're saying there were other moments where you told him to go to the next question. Why did you not do it that time? Now you're scared. But also, again, you knew that this happened before the episode came out. You're not apologizing because that's how you felt in the moment. If that was the case, you would have done so on your first episode that you filmed post filming that episode. I don't keep up with them, like I said, so I don't know when this tour wrapped up. Let's say they filmed it yesterday. If they had to put up a video at midnight. They should have taken accountability for things you do does not mean you wait until people are reacting. Because then you're not apologizing for your actions. You're apologizing for causing a reaction. When in reality, you could have made a video saying, hey, we are going to be on an episode of Andrew Schultz's podcast, and there are some moments that we're not proud of. We're not going to ask them to not put it out, but before you listen, just know that we're ashamed of our actions. That would have been the moment you take accountability, not after the fact. That's not how that works. Because you're only apologizing because it's not looking good, boo. Yeah. You're seeing your subscribers drop. You're seeing your podcast views go down. That's why you're apologizing. If you were sorry, you would have done it beforehand. But the other thing that I'm taking issue with is that y'all didn't even, like, really look him up before you agreed. Like, do y'all have an agent? Or, like, they didn't Google? Because this is not the first time Andrew Schultz has said something like this. If you Google Andrew Schultz racist, I'm sure you'll get a lot of things. And there have been other Black comedians and podcasters who have spoken up about disliking him because he's racist. So I'm not really sure how you would have ended up in the situation if you weren't comfortable with being around racist white people. And what white people listen to y'all? Who is white that's paying? Why would you like? So again, like I said, you're misunderstanding why you're popular here. And had you actually looked at them analytics, because they will, I know everybody's not a content creator, every single platform, when you look up at your analytics, will tell you how they break down by race. There is no reason for you to be on Andrew Schultz's podcast unless you're trying to market yourself to white people, which is why you shut the up when that white man was making a racist joke. So yeah, this is what you deserve. I hope the Shxts and Gigs was worth it.
I personally, I love a take on this. Like, a lot of the things I was thinking in my head, she just literally just say everything out. Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this entire conversation. The apology, do you think it was genuine? What's your thought on it? And people's response to the apology, what are your thoughts about their response down in the comment section? Do you think we should give them grace? People make mistake, or do you think that no, we're not doing that with you? What are your thoughts? Love to know what you think about this. But like, last Saturday literally just wrapped everything up. One thing I stand on: when you are sorry about something, you don't make excuses for it. I don't know if I'm making sense. They come talking about it was just the heat of the moment, they felt uncomfortable. For me, I felt like the last sister said, they did it because they got caught. And I actually looked up the Andrew, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, looked some of his short clip, not the main thing, just short clip, just to get an idea of what his platform is all about, and that man don't like black women. That man talks down on black women. So if you are going to go on a platform like that, why would you even want to go on a platform like that if you're not trying to pander or you're not trying to get white audience? And this is where, especially as content creators now, is that sometimes know your core value, what your stand, what your platform stands, and ask yourself, if you want to do something to somebody, how does it align with you? I don't know if I'm making sense. If it stands or if it calls with your value. And the fact that they sat down there for majority of his racist joke and don't say anything or walk away, that also, for me personally, not making excuses for them, but that also pandered. And there are other black men that have gone to this podcast too, that has sat down and allowed this man to talk all sort of things he talks and all that. The fact that we still have people in the black community that still do that, for me, it just reflects that still anti-blackness that some black people still have on them. Like, I know yes, we're saying, oh, pro-black, oh, black, and da, 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 da. There's still a lot of people that will keep their mouth shut, that won't say anything, just so that it doesn't look like they are being difficult. It doesn't look like the stereotypic black person. So it doesn't look like everything is about race. And like, oh, why are you getting angry? They'll rather but that just reflects that anti-blackness, that low-key, I don't like black, even though I'm black, because there are a lot of us there. And I feel like that just because, or else it would be a thing of instant. It's just like as Andrew is talking and Andrew started cursing their mom with a joke. Would they laugh at it? Would they laugh at it? So I feel like they didn't see it as a priority, like it wasn't something for them. And secondly, with them giving the apology, they will keep talking about their community, their community, their community. The people talking and the people offended about this is black women. The fact that they still feel like they can just dabble, dabble, dabble and don't come there. And for me, this is where when people want to give apology on social media, like, just be genuine about it. Be honestly genuine. If you're not sorry, don't just come, because people can pick up on it. And like the last sister said, you went somewhere and some certain things were said, and you don't have control of what clip is going to come out and all that, and certain things made you feel uncomfortable. There are some certain things that you felt like, we get that moment where you are in the heat of the moment and you don't react the way you're supposed to do because you're shocked and you're surprised, or you don't even know how to respond. We all have experienced that. Like, that's a real thing. But the fact that that thing was done months ago, and then now, because it's out and people are calling people out, you're doing the apology when you could have easily, like, we didn't react well in that place. Reflect on it, like, that podcast or that show we went for was not it. It made us felt uncomfortable. We didn't like it and all that. And then probably just address it and, like, you know what? Yeah, we went to this podcast, we did this, and clips are going to come out. It was somehow for us, we just had to say it. But the fact that a lot of, especially content creators, will still kiss just so that they be on certain big platform, for me it's just mind blowing, because they know, they are, like they said, they had a lot of uncomfortable conversation, but yet they didn't do anything, they didn't say anything, they didn't speak up on anything. Why? On the podcast. And they didn't speak on it after the podcast, because why? Probably they were scared of being cancelled by a bigger platform and all that. And now, and I feel like they really think that we're all going to kiki kaka with it, and that's why they didn't address it, and that's why I don't think that is a genuine. But I feel like I feel like, honestly, the reason why they are apologizing, like this sister said, is because they know black women is the people that made them, and black women are pissed. So that is why they are like, okay, you know what, we just have to tender apology. That's just like the memo. We're just going to tender an apology. I was going through their YouTube, because some people say, I saw it on TikTok. Some people are saying that the apology is on their YouTube channel. I don't know if it's on this one that was posted now, but the video I'm seeing now is, hold on guys, because I'm not seeing any video saying apology video on their YouTube channel. So that just, for me, like, okay, are you sorry? Hold on guys, let me play on something. Let me be sure if the same video that is here. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's actually a full podcast. Yeah. It's a full podcast, and that podcast did not apologize. So it wasn't as if, okay. Anyway, it's a full podcast. They just addressed the issue before they went on with the content of the day. Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this amazing conversation down in the comment section. But as always, keep it respectful. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way. So go ahead, feel free and share your thought. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversations. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that'll be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.